My client is going viral because he taught her the best way to find the greatest content ideas, because we don't have time to always be trying to figure out what's going to work. You need the sure proof plan of how to create the best content that your audience is looking for. And in today's episode, I'm going to tell you all about how to find the best ideas and then how to make that content go viral. So welcome back. We're going to talk all about content creation and making your process a lot easier and simpler, because I don't know about you, but I want more time with my life. I want to make more money. I want to travel, and I don't want to spend all my time behind a phone, behind a computer, trying to figure out what to do, editing content and all those things. And so that's why I want to make it simple for you today here on this episode. Now, if you haven't already done so here on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe to the channel and then like the video, because doing those things gives YouTube what it wants and it really helps me grow on YouTube. Okay. If you're listening to the show, come on YouTube at Keenya Kelly. Yes. If you're watching on YouTube, there is a little person in the background. There is a cat. This is Faith. She just turned 12 and she is making her guest appearance today. All right. So let's talk about it. So typically, when we are creating content online, we typically will make a list of the content that we want to create, which is awesome, right? We think about, like, I want to talk about this and this, and this, and that's great, right? However, if you want to be able to create content that your audience is actually looking for, then you have got to find out what exactly is your audience looking for, okay? Because, one of the reasons why people's content doesn't really work well on social media is because they're putting out things that people just don't want to know. They don't want to know the thing that you're teaching, and that doesn't mean that they don't want your business. That just means that the topic that you are trying to address, that they don't want to experience that. And you've got to find out, based upon you, your content, what your business is, then what your content could be about. Okay. For example, I was just filming a podcast episode and the person was asking me, like, well, how do we get the greatest content ideas? Like, do I search the word online marketing, or what exactly do I do? And I said, well, you can, use and do a video about online marketing, but is that what your audience is searching for? Or are they looking for the perfect side hustle? Are they looking for how to make money from home? Or are they looking for how to make a lot of money with a little effort? Like, what exactly is the phrases that they're searching? Because yes, you have that thing for online marketing, but what exactly is your audience searching for? And when I said that, it was like, a little light bulb went off, because he realized that it's not about what he wants to search for. It's about what his audience wants to search for. And then you create content around that. So let's talk about how to actually find these particular ideas. So one of the ways people have been finding content, and I'm going to say the best one for later, but one of the ways people have been finding content is there's a website called answerthepublic.com. Okay. Answerthepublic.com. And what that website does is that if you go there and you type in TikTok or TikTok marketing, right, it's going to tell you exactly what people are searching today as it pertains to TikTok marketing. Okay. And that is powerful. Why is that powerful? Because if it's telling you this is exactly what people are searching for today, then that's going to give you some potential topics for you to actually create content about. Okay. The second way to find content ideas is take a look at your comment section. Now, I think that people don't really value their comment section enough, right? Because if you did, it's going to tell you exactly what your audience wants to know. Okay. Because let's just say I created a video and I'm talking about, here's how to get more views on your Instagram content. Right. Well, and I say, ask me anything below. Well, if in the comment section, people are asking the same thing over and over and over again, those are the pieces of content that I should be creating, okay? Because if they keep asking the same thing, that means that they have not found that answer, and you can be the solution to that answer, especially if it's within your niche and going to help you with your goals of lead generation, sales, or whatever, right? So you can't ignore what's happening in your comment section. Oftentimes, we just respond to people, which is amazing, but you can't neglect the rest, because it's like, answer them, but also create that as a piece of content and then use that as a lead, as a funnel generator for what your ultimate goals are when it pertains to social media. Does that make sense? The third way to come up with content ideas, and there's one more, is what is happening on your emails, right? So if you're someone and you send a newsletter or a regular email to your community, oftentimes your community is going to talk back to you. They're going to respond to your email and they are going to say something to you. They're going to ask you questions. And then what you also could do is you could do polls in your emails. You can then also just say, respond to this and tell me X, Y, and Z. I guarantee there's going to be at least a dozen people who are going to read your email all the way through and they're going to respond to that particular message. And what happens from there, now you've got more content ideas, okay? Because again, it's more important that you're creating content around what your audience is looking for versus just what you want to create around, okay? Because if you're trying to sell something, you're trying to sell something to your audience. So you got to create content for your audience, not for what you want to talk about. Does that make sense? So sometimes, I know this can sound kind of harsh, but we have to remember that it's really not about us. It's really not about what we think, what we want when we're trying to grow a community, when we're trying to sell something. It's really about them. Okay. So you've got to figure out what do they want and give them that. And then the fourth and final one, which me personally, I feel like it's the greatest, is TikTok. Okay. I feel like TikTok has got the greatest search engine, SEO keyword search engine than anybody right now, because let me tell you something. So sometimes I'm looking for like a trending audio on TikTok. And if you know trends, it's not like they have a name. You have to just write phrases. And I was looking for a trend to showcase to my community, Invisible to Influential. And I was teaching them all about trends and all this type of stuff. And I was trying to find this one trend that I was referring to. So I just typed in, I can feel the air tonight trend, right? That's not the name of the trend, but I know that's what other people would search if they're looking for that particular audio. It came right up like that. Why? Because the search engine is just next level on TikTok. So if you want to come up with the greatest content ideas, I highly recommend you go to TikTok, you go to the For You page, which is the page where TikTok is sending you content. In the upper right-hand corner, click on the search box. It's a magnifying glass. Type in 1 or 2 keywords. Before you hit enter, a drop-down menu is going to show up. That drop-down menu is going to show you this is exactly what your audience is searching for. Create content around this. So write those down. Then I want you to hit enter. Once you hit enter, the top performing content in that search is going to show up there. Go up there and write down all the topics of all the videos that other creators have made in your niche. Don't copy them. I'm just talking about the topic, okay? Then scroll down a little bit more and it's going to say other search terms, meaning here's what other people searched that landed them here on this account. Boom, there you go, okay? But in addition to that, once you find those creators that are in your niche, click on their videos, click on their most popular videos, and then it's going to tell you this content creator or this business owner creates content around this, and this topic. Here's their most top performing videos. Write down those topics. Listen, don't copy them. You're just writing down the topic, because if it's the most popular video topic, then guess what? If you create that in your own words, in your own tone, in your own way, it's going to be popular as well. One of my clients, she was trying to get 1,000 followers on TikTok, and she wanted to do it within 8 weeks of being in my course, Monetize the Tok. We taught her how to find topics. She found one, she created it, 400,000 views in a week, and she gained over I think she's almost at 1,500 followers in a week. Why? Because she found a topic that her audience was searching for. She filmed it her own way with her own view of things, and guess what? Kaboom. Okay. And that's the exact same thing that you could do. You just have to not create what you want to create and create based upon what your audience is looking for if you are a business. Now, if you're a creator, you're creating whatever you want to create, right? But if you're a business owner, you're trying to sell something to people, and you've got to be selling them based upon they've got to watch the content first, and then you can sell them whatever you're trying to sell them. But if they never get past the video, then guess what? Doesn't even matter. Okay. So if you're someone and you're saying to yourself, this was so valuable, like, you just changed my life with this, then I would love to work with you. I have a community and it's called Invisible to Influential, where I coach entrepreneurs and business owners every single week in my community. We have live calls every single Monday. They post their content for review every single week, and I'm coaching them every single day on Instagram marketing and TikTok marketing every single week. Okay. You can literally go to the link in the description. It is invisibletoinfluential.net, invisibletoinfluential.net, and come and join us. So if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to like and subscribe, ask me anything in the comments, and I'll see you next time.